Well, guys, we made it. The biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam 2013. It's really crazy to think that, like, when I booked SummerSlam, like, I gotta see, like, when that happened, like, when that was, like, taken, like, the whole, like, when I first booked it, because I want to see, like, I can't remember exactly when. I think it was Thanksgiving. So I booked SummerSlam 2012 in Thanksgiving of this year, and now here we're at. We're in August, and yeah, I'm really excited for this card. A lot of good matches, in my opinion. And the main event is gonna be an interesting one to see how it gets rated. But overall, like I said, really excited, and let's just jump right into it. Alright, so we're starting things off, obviously, with the kickoff show, and the first match for the kickoff show is going to be the Intercontinental Championship match. The defending champion Ryback takes on Rey Mysterio and Ted DiBiase Jr. in a triple threat. And that match in a 98A, pretty good for the pre-show match. I actually didn't know recently that you could get like higher than like a B on the pre-show, but here we have done it. In a good pre-show match, Ryback defeats Rey Mysterio and Ted DiBiase Jr. in 17 minutes when Ryback hits the shell shock on Ted, making defense number 5 of his Intercontinental Championship. So Ryback's still the Intercontinental Champion. He's held it since Extreme Rules, and he's looking on a pretty good roll so far. And in the next segment of the kickoff show, we have Astrid, Nuala, and Melissa come out for their tag match against the Bella Twins. But unfortunately, they did not read the contract, Astrid says, because it said McMahon, but it never said... Okay, wait, no, it's not that. She basically introduces... She pretty much, like, just announces the Coven. Like, I don't know if either the announcers call it that, or she does herself, which is just kind of like the stabled of various goth-looking people. She introduces the new stablemate, which is Kylie Von Scarlett, also known to the indie stars as Christina Von Eerie from FCW. So we got another call-up here, and it's going to be Astrid and Scarlett taking on the Bella Twins instead of Melissa. And in a B-74, which is actually pretty good, all things considered. The Coven... I kind of do like the Shield thing where it's 1, 2, 3. The Coven defeat the Bella Twins when they get hit with a vampiric bulldog from the former Buggy Nova, Astrid Nuala. So this storyline kind of wrapping up here on the pre-show, or kickoff show, I'm sorry. I'm kind of, this has been kind of in the works for a little bit, this kind of was in the works since kind of like the YouTube series began. It wasn't before, but now here it is. So all things considered, pretty happy with that. But now we have the main part of the show, in which we have kind of like the intro package music video, which is to Gold Rush by 2 Chainz / Macklemore, and that was the official theme, which is kind of odd, but I'm pretty sure they censored it. But, we have, the main event, John Cena and Vince McMahon. We have Kofi, Kingston, Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. We have the Big Show and Yujiro Takahashi for the United States Champion. We have Madison Lane and AJ Lee for the Divas title, just to name a few matches. But our first match up here, I have the match card written down. We have the big triple, the big 3-way war between the big teams. We have the Shield, we have England's Finest, and we have, I guess you could call them Team Raw. I've kind of been doing that. But, John Morrison, R-Truth, Evan Bourne, 3 guys both groups have kind of messed around a bit in their kind of war, and especially you have the Shield and England's Finest fighting for brand supremacy. Who is the real master of Monday Night Raw? Who is going to be the team that heads that match? And in an 83B+, the Shield proved to be the superior team when Seth Rollins hits Doug Williams with a Phoenix Splash to pick up the win in, 17-20. So overall, pretty good standard opening match. I really kind of like how this went down. I thought about giving it to Team Raw, but I feel like I want to build up the Shield a bit more in terms of their kind of presence on Raw, since I kind of really lacked in booking them last year before the YouTube save started. So yeah, the Shield picking up that all-important win. But next up, we have the U.S. title match. We have the Big Show versus the Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi. Yujiro Takahashi, of course, winning that belt off of Bray Wyatt. Now he has an even bigger challenge in defending it against the Big Show. And this match is pretty, straight and forward. It's Yujiro's using his size and, not only using his size, but his stiffness from that, New Japan style against the Big Show. Someone who's probably not used to taking hard hits like that. But eventually, Yujiro does kind of get in the clutches of the Big Show, who just starts to manhandle the poor guy. But then Kane comes out. I imagine the referee gets knocked down or something, and Kane comes out. He marches down to the ring, and it looks like he's about to attack the Big Show. When, surprise, bitch, the Big Show is able to get the win because Kane stares off with the Big Show and then picks Yujiro Takahashi up, choke slam, KO punch for the win. The Big Show is your new United States champion. And just to be dicks, the Big Show and Kane look at each other. They double choke slam Takahashi onto the mat just for good measure. And as I said before, we have new U.S. champion in the Big Show. And it looks like Kane and the Big Show's kind of weird alliance that they sometimes do because they're both big dudes. It looks like it's on again, so what does this mean? Nobody knows. And next up, we have the NXT Championship match. We have Austin Aries. He managed to gets the last chancery in, and he makes Xavier Woods tap out. Xavier Woods, who's had the NXT title since the beginning of the save, he loses the title to Austin Aries here. They didn't click, so unfortunately that was kind of sad. And Xavier Woods is tiring. That's kind of weird. He usually has a good stamina stat. But Austin Aries with a 75, and it looks like he's going to be bringing the NXT title to more heights. Could this really be the birth of kind of like that new belt collector that we see in Austin Aries? Has the belt collector finally arrived? And what championship is next for Austin Aries? And about to head great heat and good wrestling, Drew McIntyre defeats Dolph Ziggler in 1935 via pinfall with a snap double underhook DDT. And you gotta really think about this for a second. Because if you remember, I was originally going to have like an intro to this hype so I could talk about this, but unfortunately it did not come. I'm out of time on this pay-per-view already. With Dolph and Drew, Dolph said he lost the World Heavyweight Championship, but he has not regained it, not on his own failures, but by Drew McIntyre. He blamed Drew McIntyre basically for his recent falling from grace of the main event scene. And you gotta wonder, by losing to Drew McIntyre, does this mean that Drew McIntyre is the reason for Dolph's failures and that's it? Or is it Dolph really need to assess himself? Maybe he needs to look inside himself. And after the match, Dolph just kind of sits there. He's not Christianing it. He's not throwing like a cartoonish temper tantrum. He's kind of just, he's lost a big match. Losing a big match on any stage is bad, let alone SummerSlam, which is pretty much like the secondary WrestleMania. The guy, he sits there really taking it in that he's really lost this match. Eventually he gets up and he walks to the back looking dejected. He doesn't look like, I don't think Dolph's going to be quitting or anything, but I really think it's time for Dolph to have a sort of sit down with himself and really get that kind of spotlight on him. And next up, we have The Miz with a Hollywood-like entrance. We're in California. CM Punk, Randy Orton, Chris Jericho make their way out, in standard fashion. But The Miz has got, I imagine it's like, it's like, maybe this is like where we debut the Quiet on the Set part of his theme. I can't remember if that was you had this theme by now, like that part of it. But, maybe he's got like a fancy dress. If Maurice was here, if I could get Maurice. I think Maurice and Miz are divorced in this game. That or they don't have a relationship. That's why I haven't brought her in yet. But, The Miz, maybe he's got some like ladies around with him. He's marching his way to the ring. The Miz kind of really needs to win this match when think of it. Ever since WrestleMania, ever since this feud started, kind of like with the Shield and England's Finest, he's been talking all kinds of shit. He's saying that this is my time, it's my destiny. This is the point where, he's going back to the main event scene. He hasn't really been in the title scene anywhere since WrestleMania 27, where he was overshadowed by Cena and The Rock. Now Cena's a bad guy and The Rock's in a coma because John beat the shit out of him. So now it's time for The Miz to take his place in the ring, and we'll have to see, can he do that? It's like a Dolph Ziggler situation. Can he get the big win on the big night? And in a 94A, he does. The Miz defeats Chris Jericho, CM Punk, and Randy Orton when he hits the skull-crushing finale on Chris Jericho. The Miz is the new #1 contender to the WWE Championship. So, pretty good stuff here to see. Chris Jericho is a weak link, but, at 79, that's not too bad of a weak link. All things considered, when you kind of have that. But yeah, The Miz is the new #1 contender. It looks like that Destiny thing really was true. I guess Miz did know something that we all didn't know, is that you should never count The Miz out. And next up, we have the tag team title match. We have the Motor City Machines having their rematch clause against the Second City Selfies. Second City Selfies, of course, winning at Cyber Sunday in that big Fatal 4-Way tag match. Tyler Breeze, Colt Cabana. Tyler Breeze has been doing some kind of questionable things lately that Colt Cabana really doesn't agree with. But overall, you can't deny the results that, these are getting them the big wins. So we'll have to see how that match goes down next. And in a 87B+, the Second City Selfies managed to retain their WWE Tag Team titles when Tyler Breeze uses underhanded tactic. He gets a hold of Shelly's tights after a big splash move, and he's able to get the pin. After so it looks like Tyler Breeze's little cheating ways are still kind of in effect. And I imagine, oh dang it, I think I forgot to have that segment there. I was supposed to have a segment where Colt Cabana was kind of pissed off because he wasn't supposed. So basically, Colt Cabana, we're teasing the dissensions, basically. Well, is there any dissension? What's going to happen? We'll have to find out. And next up, we have Bray Wyatt making his entrance against Daniel Bryan. The Yes Movement in its full swing. But even with the Yes Movement, I wouldn't say this character is more Daniel Bryan. But there's a lot of shades of Bryan Danielson. You heard him on the end week of the last show, the go-home show of Raw, where I pretty much told Bray Wyatt, you want a wrestling match, that's what Daniel Bryan does. He wrestles, and he's the best at it. Bray Wyatt can have his spooky parlor tricks, he can have the family by his side, but at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan just thinks he's the better wrestler because he's the baddest man on the planet. But, you can't count Bray Wyatt out. Bray Wyatt had an excellent United States Championship run, and he won at WrestleMania, and he showed up. He pretty much just dominated the field, and he's still dominating the field. And it's only a matter of time before he really gets into that main event position. So we'll really have to see how that goes down. That match is next. And in a 91A, kind of feel like this should have done better. But oh well. Daniel Bryan gets the triangle choke on Bray Wyatt in 2027, and he manages to beat him. So Daniel Bryan proves that he indeed is the baddest man on the planet, and there's no one better at wrestling than him. So 91A, overall pretty good match. The save's going good when an overall good match is a 91 and not a C or something or a B, but you just expect 99s all the time. But what can you do? And about the head, good heat and good wrestling. We have the Divas match, and AJ Lee manages to beat Madison Lane with a Shining Wizard. AJ Lee makes defense number 6 of her WWE Divas title. So, this was a back-and-forth match, the kind of who can really pick up the big win on this stage. That was another big question we had. And it looks like AJ Lee is the next era in Divas wrestling, or women's wrestling, you could say, as she manages to beat Madison Lane, the lady she had not been able to beat at WrestleMania on her own, but now she officially has put that rumor to bed, and AJ Lee proves once and for all that she is one of the best women wrestlers right now. And next up, we have Brock Lesnar makes his way to the ring for his big WWE title match. He showed up at Cyber Sunday, he F5'd Kofi Kingston out of his shit. He just genuinely just kind of beat down Kofi Kingston in a way that Kofi hasn't been able to do. Kofi's fought some pretty big opponents, like the Big Show, Chris Jericho, CM Punk, Bray Wyatt, Wade Barrett, all kinds of different dudes. But, you can't really compare any of those guys to Brock Lesnar, UFC star, wrestler, that he was the next big thing, and he proved he beat The Rock at SummerSlam all those years ago. Is Kofi Kingston's kind of championship reign, that boyhood dream that he got at WrestleMania, is that coming to an end? I believe, I knew something was up. So AJ Lee, Madison Lane, they shake hands. So Brock Lesnar comes out, and then AJ Lee, Madison, like, hold on a second, Brock, we got to do the handshake gimmick. So they shake hands in a sign of respect. So, little botch on my part, but it gives the series a little things to light. So yeah, Kofi Kingston makes his own elaborate entrance as the WWE champion. Kofi Kingston, obviously, pretty good wrestler in his own right. But, who will win, Kofi Kingston or Brock Lesnar? We'll have to see now. And in a 100 A-star match, Kofi Kingston beats Brock Lesnar with the SOS in 22-19. Makes defense number 8 of his world heavyweight, I'm sorry. We're getting to that one. I'm so excited for that match, brother. We're getting to that one. He makes it defense number 6 of his WWE title. I'm going to quickly screen cap that because that's awesome. I thought this match actually, I had high standards for it, but I thought it would be like kind of the lower 90s. I didn't think it would be 100. But overall, Kofi Kingston's, like, ever since Kofi's got the belt, he's just become a beast, and then Brock Lesnar literally is called the Beast. So all things considered, makes for a great stellar match. So Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston, settle their feud, and Kofi Kingston is still your WWE champion. And dang it, The Miz was supposed to come out here. I don't know why I forgot. So basically, Kofi Kingston celebrates his huge win, and that's when The Miz comes down to have a stare down. The number 1 contender, the WWE champion. We're hyping that feud up to be a pretty big deal. All things considered, I'd watch out for that one. So overall, yeah. And I think next up, here we go, brother. Next up, Vince McMahon, no chance in hell hits. So basically what we're doing with this match is it's basically kind of like no chance in hell hits, but Vince is not walking there. It's on video. It's on the Titantron. It's pretty much like the why can't I think of the name? The final deletion. We're pretty much final deletioning this shit. And we see Titan Towers. We see Vince McMahon pull up in a fancy car. He's got his ass-kicking outfit on. Vince McMahon has been told by the board of directors that if he can't get John Cena, if he cannot pry the World Heavyweight Championship from him, and he can't get John Cena out of the company, Vince McMahon's time as CEO, decades of hard work that Vince McMahon has put in to pretty much become the godfather of wrestling. Like that, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of him or not, that's just kind of the position he's at, can all come crumbling down right now in front of him. If he doesn't beat John. And then there's, we have John Cena, which I believe his entrance. We have John Cena coming out with his man. We show him in another side of the parking lot. They're meeting. I like to imagine, we're on the roof of Titan Towers at this point. No, we're actually, I believe we're going to go up. We're like, you have the match starts, like, there's all kind of weapons, all like a bunch of people in suits watching, and they start at the bottom of Titan Towers, and they're going to fight their way up. John comes out. John Cena is just a beast. Ever since WrestleMania, where he turned heel, he's just become an absolute madman. He beat up The Rock. He forced Christian out of the company, a man who, had a great 2012, but then ended 2013 literally out of the company. So, you got two men who need to prove themselves, the highest stakes of a match you can get for the main event. And then the whole match is just absolute shit. It's just crazy brawls going on. The cameraman tries to catch it all. They're fighting through different office spaces. Many various office workers get caught in the crossfire. John Cena probably AAs like at least 12 like interns. And we didn't tell them they were in the spot, so their probably necks are broken. They probably burning hammered it. Vince McMahon just punches random people just for the sake of it. They got like chains. They got like, barbed wire bats. We're going full out for this kind of match. And it's just absolute insanity. But at the end of the day, it always had to end on the roof, as I said. We're ending on the roof. We kind of maybe we have like a helicopter shot. We're going to do some like fancy TNA shit. I don't know why. No, I'm thinking WCW. Well, I guess they're the same thing. Waka Waka. And John, they're trading blows. But then John, Vince McMahon, pretty much the whole match is mostly John. Like, Vince gets offense in. But Vince is, he's like 67, I think, at this point. He's an old man who should not be wrestling in a match, let alone a match of this caliber. Vince, he's trying his best. He sees probably his whole entire life's work flash before his eyes. But then John Cena picks him up. And he's going to AA him on the roof of Titan Towers. But he goes, no. That's not how this is gonna end. And he walks straight over to fucking the edge of the roof, and he A's him right off of Titan Towers. You could probably hear like Stephanie McMahon in 3 other states. Or maybe Stephanie's not. I should have had Stephanie there to do a run-in. That would have been funny. But John Cena just AA's Vince McMahon right off the damn Titan Towers. And we end the shot. You know, the ref calls for the bell. And John Cena just looks down at an unconscious Vince McMahon. He's probably doing like the Family Guy dead, like, you know how they animate like when someone's like knocked out and they're like all bones are fucked up. That's probably how Vince McMahon looks right now. So let's see what the actual match rating got. It got a 90. I honestly was like, I was really scared this would get like a fucking like 0. I honestly did, but I'm really glad to see that this got what it did. I'm definitely screenshotting that, because this has been like my favorite match I've ever booked. But John Cena makes defense number 5 of his WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Vince McMahon was not able to do it, and John Cena has just pretty much ended the career of Vince McMahon in terms of anything to do with WWE, and he's probably killed Vince McMahon since, you know, he fell off a fucking scaffold. And do we have... I think Vince McMahon needs... Okay, McFoley, yeah, shut up. So we have this segment, John Cena, SummerSlam ends, all the kids are crying as John Cena just stares down at an unconscious, broken Vince McMahon. What does this mean for his SmackDown? What does this mean for John Cena? What does this mean for the future of the WWE? And that's how we end WWE SummerSlam 2013. Let's see what our final rating is. 94A. I really thought, how did that, it's probably some of the matches kind of lacked. Like the Divas match kind of disappointed. But besides that, every other match was really good. But otherwise, this is still a good show. Wow, I'm going to need to do some fancy screen cap editing with this. So I just want to thank everybody for watching for SummerSlam 2013. Really fun show to book. All in all things considered. I probably would have gotten a better rating if John and Vince didn't main event, maybe. But it had a main event. There's no other way it didn't want a main event. I want to thank everyone guys for watching. The next episode is not going to be Raw, but I'm going to be doing like a little podcast, like kind of short, just talk about the series so far. Especially since now that SummerSlam's over. As weird as it is to say, I feel like the series is about to really pick up with a big storyline that's going to basically about to unfold. I'm not going to obviously say it. But, you know, with the series kind of going in a new direction, I wanted to talk about it. And all things considered. And it's not the Oz-Sheamus feud. That is not the big storyline that's going to headline the company. Don't worry. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for supporting the series. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff I'm railing on about just because of how so excited I am for this. And I want to thank everybody. Have a nice day. Bang, bang. And I'll see you guys next time.